They say we the answer. What's up, y'all?
You can see what my favorite part is, right?
Yeah. Put in work again. All right, looks like we're about to get our show started. Okay. You ready, Jenny?
Not yet.
Not yet. She's not ready yet, guys. We are about to start our watch party. You got it?
Share, is it? Share now?
You gotta do it from your phone, baby.
Do we?
Yeah.
Fortnite.
Go to DMP Networks.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right there. And we're gonna start a watch party right there. There we go. And we already got 11 people. Thank you guys for tuning in. Okay. Start this watch party right now. Hit that share.
Join us.
Let's go. All right, y'all. Welcome to the Relatable Podcast. I am Vince Serrano, and I'm with the lovely
Jenny.
Yes. Appreciate you guys joining us for today. Jenny, how's your day been?
Exhausting.
Exhausting.
Got caught in the rain today, so my hair's a little messed up.
It's a little frizzy. It's a little frizzy. But it's all right, girl.
Natural.
You still look lovely. I'm so grateful for you, girl. Jenny, I think we were talking about, like, especially with the last, how do you feel like, especially with the Relatable Podcast, so many people tuning in, so many people are looking at us now. How do you feel like we're doing?
I think we're creating fun for your home.
Right. We're making things, we're making people, actually think about the topics that we're in, and we're going forward with it. And
is it stirring up conversations in your own home?
Right. Are you guys talking about it? Are you thinking about it? Do you guys have these discussions with your significant others at the house? Jenny, we have them all the time, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Right.
I'm curious to find out, like, the stuff that we talked about last time, if anyone has made any progress.
Yeah. Definitely comment.
Home.
Yeah. So, like, what do you mean? Progress as far as what?
Well, we talked about last week when we were asking if people were okay with having sex. Well, that time of the month is here.
Right. And so now, if you guys have made progress, do me a favor, definitely comment in the sections. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button to the Relatable Podcast on YouTube. Go follow us on Instagram. That's Relatable Podcast. That's REL, the number 8, TABLE podcast. Ha!
Stephanie says, hell no.
Hell nah. So no, she was not cool with doing it while she was on the rag. And so
it's only been a couple days. So.
It's only been a couple days, but
I had a lot of fun the other day, though. I thought it was it seemed like everybody was having fun. So that's what it's all about.
That's what it's about for sure. Comment in the section. We definitely want interactions with everybody. And we want you guys more in tune. So definitely comment on it. And let's go. Jenny, what's today's topic?
Toxic relationships.
Yeah, definitely.
Being in them, growing from them, looking back and realizing, sometimes you don't even realize you're in a toxic relationship.
Right.
Until later on you've moved on and you're in a different one and you're like, this is actually how it's supposed to be.
Right.
And that's not what I'm used to. So,
well, what is defined, because I think we talked about it, right? What is defined as a toxic relationship to begin with?
I had it kind of wrong, I guess, because my idea of a toxic relationship is being with somebody that's I don't know. I guess it's not completely wrong, but being with somebody that intentionally is holding you back from growing and becoming better for their own, selfish reasons.
Right.
I also have always kind of related it to like some sort of abuse, verbal, physical,
Right.
constant going back and forth.
Yeah, I mean,
but it could be a lot of different things,
right. Comment in the comment section if you want to know what a toxic, if you have an idea of what a toxic relationship might be to you. To me, a toxic relationship isn't something that's just utterly negative. Like no matter what you try to do, it's just not working out. You're not happy. Sometimes you don't even want to go home. That's what a toxic relationship would be to me. And I think we've both been in those, right, Jenny?
Yeah, like I was telling you earlier, I didn't think that I ever had been, and you're like, you kind of brought it to my attention that I kind of probably was.
I mean, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus or anything.
I don't either,
Right.
But it's a different, it's a different way. It's like, I guess if you can think about a toxic relationship that you've been in, it's toxic if you can be in a new relationship now and know that that's not like when you actually reflect on it, it's stuff that you can say that you were living the wrong way.
Right. Or you weren't living the life that was meant for you.
You're accepting things that weren't right.
Right.
That aren't not acceptable behavior from any other people.
Right, for sure. And so, Jenny, I think we both were in one. We talked about it today, right? Today I got a call from VH1. So guys, everybody,
super exciting.
Pray for us. VH1 right now is looking to do a podcast, or not a podcast. They're looking
podcasts everywhere. No.
Yeah, they're looking to do a documentary on just how you were able to turn your life around from negative mistakes and things like that. And when we talked about it, in the story, I was with a past relationship, and I considered that relationship toxic. And it was something that the VH1 producer basically told me. He was like, "Look, we want to include this in the story. Do you think that we could reach out to that person and have her confirm everything that we're talking about?" And I know when you heard that, you kind of felt a little
like, ugh, why are we going back there?
Right. And what was the things what were we talking about? Like how did the conversation come up? What were you feeling?
My mood kind of was like, it went like, I'm super excited about it. I think it's going to be awesome. But my mood was kind of like, why are we talking about this person again? Because I know that they want to reach out to her. So I'm like, I don't know what feelings are there, if there is any. And I know, like, from what I know, the girl had left you. So I was like, I don't know if that's going to bring old feelings out,
right.
So it kind of concerned me. But the guy, you did do your part, and you did tell him you didn't want to be anywhere near her because you don't want to, haven't create any issues between her and her new life and you and your new life. So I did respect that a lot.
Right, for sure. And when we talked about it, like I think my explanation was huge.
Yeah, it was.
And I
need that.
Yeah, and while I was in the relationship, I don't think that I thought it was toxic, right? I don't think that anybody actually understands when a relationship is toxic until they are
moved on.
Right.
And you can, so you're talking about this toxic relationship that did anyone tell you that it was at that time?
Absolutely. Like people were telling me all the time, like, bro, like you guys go at it. You guys go hard at it. And it's something that is really, really, really not healthy. And I think that's what they call toxic, where it's radioactive, where it'll just blow up in your face at any time. You don't even know. And there were so many times in that relationship where it was kind of, it was crazy, and I think, when we're talking about toxic relationships, I didn't know while I was in there. I just thought that, we were, we loved hard. That was my excuse. We loved really, really hard. Now that I look at it, yo, there ain't no such thing as love. Love can't be hard. You know what I'm saying? Like it should come effortless. It should come, like me and you. Like we do have our misunderstandings, but it's never anything where it's hard. Like it's not hard to love somebody. But when people say, "Oh, we love hard," it's like, yo,
it's just making an excuse for the
for a relationship, right? For the crazy, right? And that's what people would be like, "Yo, y'all crazy." You know what I'm saying? Like y'all crazy. And I'll be like, yo, I'm not crazy. But it literally was that we were crazy.
So like in what way? Like what can you tell us a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, like when alcohol was involved, this girl got crazy, like even to the point where a couple of times she put her hands on me. You know what I'm saying? Like she was small. She was about your size. So it wasn't anything that was actually going to hurt, but violating my space and violating my, my, like going against the norm, losing that respect for each other, And I think, as Stephanie says, playing mind games was my experience of a toxic relationship in the past. And I think that's huge. Like it's the mind games. It's the,
and I think that I relate to that part.
Right. Like what? What do you mean?
Well, I want to keep, I don't know if you're done with, your explanation or not.
Well, I mean, like, so we would fight, we would argue, it would just be so, like, especially after an argument, it would feel so draining. It would feel like at times I didn't even want to come home, and even when we broke up, it hurt so bad. I thought that I was doing everything I could. I gave up a lot of my dreams. So everybody here knows I love music and I record, mix, master. I'm an artist. And even in that limelight, like I stopped doing music. I used to come home and, I'd be like, oh, I got a show. And she'd be like, oh, what do you want to be? Chico Rick Ross? Oh, what are you trying to be? Diddy? Oh, you just trying to go out there and get them bitches. And it would make me feel like what I was trying to do, chasing my dreams, was hurting her. And I stopped doing music for a while, like professionally and seriously, because I didn't want to damage our relationship. And then I realized that wasn't even going to make her, that still wasn't even making her happy, me not doing it, So that was my idea of toxic. What was yours?
I mean, I never had any kind of experience with violence or anything, like in my past relationships, like main one, we were very always calm with each other. But there was infidelity there. And so I think I can relate with, Stephanie on here about mind games, because that happened to me often. You know what I mean? Like everything was great for a long time. And then when that person hit a moment in their lives where it was kind of like a I called it the mid-20s crisis, because, things are changing in life so much. Usually it's a midlife crisis, but I think that people are experiencing that way younger now.
Right.
Especially when they start families early, like they kind of go through that moment of that they want to kind of explore other options or whatever,
Right.
So I don't know where I was really going with that, but like
your version of toxic.
Yeah, like just being unfaithful.
She said the goddamn calm.
She said too goddamn calm.
Who, you Lacey? Yeah. You Lacey said you were too goddamn calm. Like Jenny, and I think there's a couple of stages, right? I think it's when you're in it, right? You're toxic, right? There's a toxicity that you don't even feel. You just think it's everyday life, right? And you just think that's like kind of like normal. That's the norm, right?
I mean, yes. It's a little complicated.
What do you mean?
It's a little complicated.
I'm waiting. What do you mean?
Like, like the infidelity part, like that was not something, as soon as I found out about that, I left. Do you know what I mean? So it's not like I was like letting, but then I don't know. So
no. Like, what's up? Talk about
like, it. Then I was kind of like, okay with kind of talking with them again, even though I know like that there's probably other people in his life, you know.
Okay, and then what happened
But
after
we
that?
weren't together, so
Did you guys try to get back? Because that's what I'm talking about, right? There's a part where you're
yes,
actually
and
in,
every time we would try to work it out again, it would start like it would always be great the first couple months, and then it would start draining me again.
right. So
Draining
there's
me because I'm not sure every time you walk out that door where you're going, if you're being truthful.
right. What
And
I'm trying to
the
get at is
negativity.
what I'm trying to get at is there's phases.
Yeah.
You're in the phase one, where you're in the relationship and you're okay with the relationship being how it is because you just want to make it work. Then you're in the next phase where it's like, okay, something ain't right. Should I stay? Should I go?
Should I try fixing it? Is this worth? Yes, you
Right.
know, like they'll change. You always think that, you know, like,
And that's phase two, right?
yeah, like I guess denial, right? That even something like that would even be happening to you.
Right. And so what are you looking at? You're like, what are you thinking when you're so in phase one, you're thinking, oh, this is just, this is just regular, this is just whatever, it's just the way he is, or it's just the way.
And it doesn't help when, let's say you get cheated on. It doesn't help when a lot of people around you start kind of making excuses up for them, saying,
Right.
oh, all guys cheat. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be fine. You guys can work through it. All guys cheat. And so that kind of freaking stuck in my head, you know,
Right.
like, that's why I'm like, it creates this belief in your head, and it's not really true.
Right. And so now how do you get to phase two, right? Where phase two is like where you start questioning, is this worth it? Or is this how the relationship is supposed to be? How do you, what's phase two like? For me, it was, we had an apartment together, but now I started talking to her mom with like, hey man, like I'm doing everything for your daughter. I think your daughter's great, but she's nuts. What is going on? Like, and now you're talking to the family.
Is that the right move to go talking to his?
I mean, I gotta figure out what the hell's going on. Like,
has your daughter always been this crazy?
Right, like, yo,
or is this just a phase she's going through?
Right.
Can we get past it? I don't know.
Yeah, like, hey, is this a normal thing? Like, and even maybe telling me like, and that's the thing, I'm looking for validation on where to go in the relationship, right? You're like, yo, I'm doing what I need to do. She's doing this. What is going on? And how do we overcome this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's my biggest thing is how do we overcome our relationship?
You try saving it.
Right. And so that was my point. But, talking to her mom, things would be good for 1 or 2 days and then flipping out again, or.
Did it help your situation talking to her mom though?
Hell nah. Her mom told me you're a good guy.
Like, you're a good guy. You better head for the hills.
Get out of there. Like, telling them like stop making an excuse.
Lacey said, normally you blame it on other things like outside factors, like the change or loss of a job or whatever situation.
Right.
So basically, we're arguing right now because we're going through something rough, but once we get through it, it will get better.
And
yeah,
does it
I've
ever
totally
get better?
been there before.
Does it ever get better?
No, it gets worse.
Right. It gets
and
worse.
You're so
right?
hopeful that things will get better, but you just have to understand that it most likely won't.
Well, then there's that.
Most cases, I don't know.
Then there's another phase after it's like, okay, you're weighing it out to see if it actually works. But there's another phase of the kind of like, all right, you're trying to get out, but you're being pulled back in. Right?
Yes.
You're always being pulled back in, whether it be for sex, right? Oh, I don't want to. You start making excuses, right? Oh, I just don't know if I feel comfortable with somebody else touching me, right? Or I don't know if,
I need that human interaction. Yeah,
right.
Let's get it cracking.
And then maybe you go out there and you experience life with somebody else, right? But it's not the same. So now you have the comparisons.
Yeah. Do you guys do that? Like, are you vocal about it? Like, me and you have never been like, oh, this person in my past would never have said that or would have never done that. I've never done anything like that to you, and you've never done like that anything to me.
Right.
But I know that there are people that are, like, think about it, like, oh, you know what? This person said that to me, but you know what? My ex would have never said that to me. You know what I mean? Like, or are they talking about it out loud? You know, are they being vocal about it?
Right. Yeah. Oh, yo, listen, that's another thing. Jealousy, like that was huge. It wasn't just like jealousy, I feel also increases toxicity, you know? When
Well, if
somebody's
you already have a toxic relationship and then the person is jealous on top of
oh,
that,
it's
then
over.
it's a freaking storm.
It's a mess.
Yeah.
And that's where it got really ugly because no matter what I tried to do, I sacrificed speaking to managers who were of the opposite sex. I sacrificed doing videos with opposite sex in there. I sacrificed going on trips because we wouldn't be around. I sacrificed doing music because I thought it was bringing in a negative point to our relationship, and then that person still wasn't happy. And so
and that's what it is. Like, in my past, I'm like, nothing would make this person happy. Nothing.
It's
like,
just
give you the world and nothing. And that was draining me because I get any like little things will make me happy. It doesn't even matter. But like then I remember walking out, I was at work one day and I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, I'm just exhausted.
right.
I'm like, I don't even think this is worth it. And then within probably a couple of days of that, we both decided let's just go our separate ways, still be great. We're better as friends. And that's what it was,
Lacey said
it's exhausting though.
Lacey said, because the problem is them.
Exactly. They are like, I don't know, go get some therapy or something. If you are unhappy, if you know that you are always unhappy, someone might make you happy for a couple of days, months. You think that you're happy, but you just are never going to be fully fulfilled.
Yeah. Lacey also added, it's because they are the problem, not you. They're unfulfilled. And I think that's true. It was crazy because during that time, the person who was the most unhappiest was her. And it was because she wasn't happy, not with me. Of course, she was unhappy with me, but not happy with herself.
Yeah,
she wasn't doing anything in life. She wasn't where she wanted to be, and
then they grow a jealousy on your life towards you.
Right.
Like jealous that you're, accomplishing all of your goals. You're, growing to be more successful, or you know what I mean, like.
Yeah, it was more resentment than anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's what happened. And then we broke up, but then I think there's another phase. And I think this phase is the phase that keeps a lot of people together or not even not together. It keeps people from actually moving on to the next part that's better for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in that stage. So it took me, our relationship while I was in it. And I feel like there's the stage again. It's the stage where you're in the toxic relationship. Don't even know. You're already used to it. The stage where you're weighing it out. Then the stage where you're trying to work it out. You're running back and forth. You're kind of playing like, hot potato, going back and forth. And then then there's a stage where you're away from the person, but you can't be with anybody else because of the trauma that you felt with that person. And that right there.
Yeah, it's always, You think that no one else will ever understand you the way that person understood you, because no one else has ever gone through the experiences that you've gone through together.
Right.
But you got to get away from that idea.
Yeah, but it's hard.
I know. You have to obviously, you have to wait until you are actually ready
to get into another relationship.
Nah, not even to get into another. I don't even want to get.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
To get into another, yeah,
right, that's what I'm talking. Right. You end up, everybody that you're with, no one is gonna ever be good enough, or you don't want to get hurt, or you don't want to put in the time and the effort, or you're like, all right, cool, I'm just gonna go fuck bitches, or oh, I'm just gonna go. Best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody. So.
And that's never fulfilling.
And that's not true either, but there's times. So, Leticia, what did Leticia say, Jenny?
Leticia said, some people aren't supposed to be in relationships. They're supposed to be healing and or getting to know themselves. I completely 100% agree with you. Some people can't not be in relationships, though. They have to go from, it's usually the people that are not happy with themselves, right?
Right.
They always have to be in a relationship. So they will go from one to the next. just continuing to be unhappy in relationships
Right.
because they need to find the happiness within themselves before getting into it with somebody else.
Yeah, and Daisy said it too. To add to Leticia, you have to love yourself before you can love someone else. And with me, I think this is the part, right? Because when we were talking about the VH1 thing and then we talked about it, you know, I realized, and I didn't realize it maybe at the time, but I realized that I needed to get me right before I hopped into another relationship. I need to get where I was going to go before I hopped in. And I got a friend of mine who's doing the same thing. He's, you know, he was hurt in a relationship and now he's trying to get his, you know, bearing straight and trying to love himself. And at the beginning, you're trying to, how you love yourself is trying to be around as many girls to forget about, you know, that one girl as possible. And the crazy thing about it is that is actually exhausting.
It is exhausting.
Yeah.
And what does that leave you feeling? Like emptiness?
Right.
You know, like, yeah, it's fun for a night, but then you're still going to gatherings and stuff by yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah.
Because none of them you take serious enough to bring around your close people.
Right. Yeah. You're not going to bring them around your close people. You're not going to bring them around your friends. Like, because you don't even know if they're going to be here tomorrow.
Exactly.
You know?
You don't want to be that one that's always jumping around from person to person.
What did Leticia...
She said, so true. They never take time to get to know themselves. You're never the same person after a relationship. You have to learn to love yourself before you jump into something.
Absolutely. So you go from the toxic relationship to weighing it out to the pity patting to the healing point.
Totally.
Right.
And, you know, like during my time of being single, I really used that time to really understand what I'm looking for. And I didn't go jumping around from guy to guy. Like I was just super focused on my own self and my own growth. And I knew if someone was supposed to be with me, they'll come along eventually. But I was not looking for them, you know. And then you ended up showing up.
What makes you not look for them though? Because that's the thing.
I was not. Honestly, I was just like, I'm focused on just my life. Like it was not a priority for me to be in a relationship. I didn't care to be. Guys, I was in a relationship for 12 years. Like I was like understanding life. Like, you know, like you don't even truly know yourself as an 18-year-old.
Right.
You know, so like I was kind of using that time to really understand what it was in a person that I was going to be looking for. That would really make me happy. What values that you share with me. And, you know, like I know I'm older now, so I know what I would put up with and what I wouldn't. And I know if you respect me or not. And I'm not even here for any games. You know what I mean? Like, so I know if I was questioning your every move, I can't be with you.
What weren't you looking for?
I was not looking for someone that was playing games.
Okay. What else? That can't be just it.
You said what was I looking
for?
What
weren't you looking for? What did you not want?
I didn't want like quick hookups with people.
Okay, you didn't want a quick hookup. What else?
It didn't mean anything to me. I know a lot of times people when they're single they like to get crazy.
Oh yeah, that's like the number one.
Yeah, all over the place. That was not my goals at all.
So no quick hookups. Mm-hmm. What else were you not looking for?
Someone that I wasn't looking for someone that was not like motivated.
So lazy people.
Yeah.
Okay, you weren't looking for lazy people.
No mama's boys. No mama's
boys. There you go.
I was like, really, honestly, I was like, I don't want no one's mom getting in between my relationship.
Wow.
It has happened in the past.
Okay.
And I know how much of an impact a mom has on her child, right?
Right.
And so you may say that it doesn't bother you, but deep down it really does. And I understand that.
Right.
So I was like, that was one thing. I was like, my next guy, whoever he is not gonna either one have a relationship with his mom. I've said this before, actually. His mom's gone, unfortunately, or she lives in another state.
Right. And look who you got. Anyway.
That's my first question. How are things with your mom?
Right. So that's the thing. So we understood you didn't want a mama's boy. You didn't want, what else were you not wanting? Like, what about somebody who was into themselves? Like, what about, like, Like what else? No hookups, no mama's boys. What else? I know you told me a couple.
I'm not into guys that are misogynist. Like,
What is that?
thinking that the woman is supposed to do everything.
For sure. Right.
I'm like modern. Like I'm not living in the past in the '60s when your wife has to be catering to your every need.
Right.
I'd like to do nice things for you, but I don't need to feel like that's freaking my job. My job on top of my regular job. I need to be a housewife or whatever. That's not my thing.
Right. Okay. So
how about you?
Well, and that's the thing. So during these times, especially,
and he has to be positive. And you were super like that was actually one of my main things, and that's what really attracted me to you a lot. It was how positive you were, because negativity is extremely draining.
Right.
I know it too well,
For sure.
And to a negative and a positive, I don't know, doesn't really work in my opinion, because you're always seeing the bright side when that negative person is always seeing what are all the things that can go wrong all the time. Right. No matter how great something is, they're gonna find that
reason to bring it down,
to bring the whole entire mood down.
Yeah, I think there were certain things that I wanted. Number one, I told myself I am not taking care of any woman anymore. Okay, she's got to bring something to the table. She's got to have a job. She's got to be, with me, she has to have her own stuff. Okay. She's got to be responsible. Okay. That's the number thing. Another thing is I have kids, and I wanted somebody who was going to be okay with me having kids and not having kids. So I wanted, think about it. I wanted a person who already had kids. And the reason why I wanted that was so that they could, I wanted them to understand that I have kids and that they have kids. So we would, like with my last relationship before that, they didn't have any kids. So they wanted to have a kid. And I had been in relationships where I didn't want any more kids because they didn't work out.
Yeah.
And so I looked at that and said, I need somebody with kids who can understand that I have a baby mama and I'm going to have to communicate with her. Mm-hmm. Right. So if I have to understand that if you have to understand that I have to communicate with them, I need to understand that you got to communicate with yours. And I'm okay with that.
Absolutely. And I think I remember a conversation you and I had early on. I told you, look, I have a good relationship with my kid's father. So I need, that is super important to me. I need you to be okay with that.
And I was like,
you know what I mean? Yeah. And you were like, I think that's great because I don't have the greatest relationship with mine. So I'm all for it,
Yeah, I think that's huge. And so having a great relationship with having a great relationship and having kids was important because you understood you're going to need time. One thing I didn't want was jealousy between me, my kid, and his mom. And I had that. I didn't want somebody always saying, oh, you're always going to be with her because that's your baby mama. And I'm just going to be somebody on the side. I never wanted to have that. I always wanted to have a relationship where I could talk to somebody and be like, hey, I've got to go handle this situation. If I have to call my son's mom or she calls me, I don't want to have to put, I got to kind of hide or I can't speak to her in front of you because you think something's going on.
I'm definitely thinking something's going on if you can't talk to each other in front of me.
Right.
Like, you talk to your kid's mom in front of me. I talk to my kid's dad in front of you. And it should be all out on the table.
Right. Yeah. And that's the big thing that I did. I didn't want anybody thinking, oh, you still got love for her. You still rocking with her like that. Because that was done. That was dead with flowers, Leticia, what did she said?
What did she say?
Leticia said, can I just say that it can be really hard for people to put their relationship views out there alongside their significant other. So she commends us. You could just tell how healthy our relationship is. Thank you, Leticia. Appreciate that. This is like couples therapy for us, really.
It is, and it's crazy because it was probably an hour ago that we decided to talk about this because this conversation just came up today.
Right.
About VH1 calling, about them reaching out to his ex, and I was like, made me a little tight for a second, but he talked to me about it, and I'm like, I'm such a hypocrite. Didn't I tell you that?
Yeah, you said
I'm
that.
such a hypocrite for getting bothered by these things
because
I've done more.
Right.
You know what
right,
I mean? Like,
right.
oh, because the VH1 guy was like, oh, we like the part about, you getting into whatever trouble and telling that girl at the time that you wanted to marry her. And to me, I got a little like, I thought you'd only want, like, I'm the only girl you ever wanted to marry in your life. You know?
Right.
And then he's like, wait a second, let's talk about it. And so he walked me through the entire story.
Right.
And, I was like, how much of a hypocrite am I when he only talked about, marrying the ex girl? I've been engaged. I've been proposed to. I've proposed to my guy. You know what I mean? Like, everybody knew about it. It was on TV and everything. Like, so, and that was just him talking about it. How freaking, like, who am I to get even bothered even a little bit by that?
Yeah, and I understand where you could
we
get
all
bothered.
Have past,
yeah,
so.
and I understand where you could get bothered because you told me it's like, oh, I don't know if you have relationships, but I looked at it, and this is the thing that I talked about, and this is, I think, the final stage, right? And I'm glad that we're talking about it in stages, right? So the final stage is where you actually realize you are better off without the person. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the stage where you're like, and we talked about that because I was like, listen, yeah, we were already broken up and we were kind of like in the pity pat stage. As a matter of fact, I was supposed to move to Cali, and she was not moving. So I would have been in a different state. And when I was coming back, we were already gone. And, I was holding on to something for a long time, kind of like in that healing stage where I was trying to, maybe one day we can get back together. Oh, I'm going to be better. I'm going to get into the gym. I'm going to make a career for myself. And then one day we're going to get back. And then I realized one day, I actually realized this when I met you. I realized that I was better off the moment that she broke up with me. I took off. It was like she was the parachute on my back and she was holding me back. And the moment I let that parachute go, my life took off. I remember times where she'd be like, oh, I'm going to help you, bag up, or I'm going to help you. And I used to be like, yo, I don't want you to do that. I want you to go get a job. I don't want you out here taking chances with me. That's not what I want. I want us to get out of here so we don't have to do this. And when I met you, like my life was better without that other person, but my life got better with you, And think about it, guys. I left $150,000, and she knows this. I left $150,000 at my old company to come down here and actually live in Florida and be with Jenny, essentially. And it was,
I guess I'm just pretty cool.
It wasn't about the money. It was about happiness. I had already had money. I had already made it to that point. When that other person left, I found my way, and then you, instead of you being a burden, you've been like an added fire, gasoline to help me get to another point. And I think that people are afraid of that. I think that's what it is where
afraid to get to another level.
Right. Afraid of what is out there for them, and afraid to find it. And sometimes you may push. This is the thing. And I told the guy on VH1 because you came in at the end of the conversation. I'd already told the dude the whole hour-long story, right?
I definitely came in at the end of the conversation.
Right. You were like, what are you doing? I'm like, VH1. Like, they're on the phone. And it was crazy because when they told me, right, I said this, I was like, yo, it wasn't about the money. It was about happiness. That when that person comes, it ain't about the paper, because I at that point I was like, yo, if I did it once, I could do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And when I met you, I just wanted to be happy with somebody. And I knew that if I didn't jump into this thing with you, that I could be pushing away the person that's going to make me better. And realistically, baby, from the beginning, you have taken my life has always been up and down. And I feel like life is going to be up and down, as like a stock market, as long as you keep going up. But when I met you, it's like we took off. It's like, because I feel like I had added motivation for somebody, and we had a responsibility to each other. Does that make sense? To become better every day. Because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I'm okay with not going to the gym. Sometimes I'm okay with not going to work. But when I'm with you, I know that I can't do that. Like I could be okay with sleeping at somebody's house or on their couch, but I'm not okay with that with me and you or with our family. And I think that's the motivator. And I actually learned that in a book called How to Win Friends and Influence Other People, a book by Dale Carnegie. And he says, when you meet that one that's going to take you to another level, they're going to inspire you to do things that you didn't even think that you could do. And I know you know that because, when I came down here, I worked at a t-shirt shop for like 2 weeks, just to have a job, so that way you wouldn't look at me like I was like just trying to sit and chill.
Yeah, but I know that you were going to figure it out.
Right. Well,
I always have believed in you. So
right.
Even when the times that you've had your lowest points, it's like low points. Obviously, it's not your lowest points, but like, I knew that you were gonna figure something out.
Right,
and get
right.
Going, so.
And I knew you were gonna help me, baby. And
it's important to just believe in your partner that you're with. And if you really don't,
No, and I think that's a huge thing, like the belief and understanding as well. So Stephanie said our relationship is beautiful. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate you guys. This is, to me, it's not easy being able to come up here and talk about our relationship for about an hour to you guys, right? And it is the Relatable Podcast, and I hope everybody on here understands that too. Like this isn't about putting Jenny on a pedestal or sucking up. It's me and you putting each other on the pedestal. Yeah. Like, building with each other to get to the next level. Not like, Vince, he's always trying to come back. Nah, it's not about that. It's about, I know what you do. Like a lot of people don't know that, right? They don't know, that you sacrifice, right? You had a job. You were at a job that you hated for a long time. And we didn't know what we were going to do. And, you took the leap of faith and believed in our company to make things work, and it wasn't easy. You took a pay cut, you all these things. And why'd you do that?
Well, I believed in I believed in the business, and I wanted to see it grow, and I wanted to be part of it rather than a corporation that I was with before. I loved it for so many years, but so many things have went down that I just knew that wasn't making me happy anymore. For sure. And I can say I'm happy now.
And you're still trying to build things, like you're building things with your sister. Like they got Deck the Yards. Go visit the Facebook page and the Instagram page, Deck the Yards, guys. That's DECYARD or Deck the Yards. Okay, so I missed the, but go check that out. Now you're working on building your business with your family. You're working on so many different things, and I feel like I'm
not stuck in an office the entire day anymore. So
right.
It's there's so many things that. You've always believed in me, and I've just always go back to, how I've felt in the past. Whenever, if I would get a promotion at work, it's like, oh, great, you got a promotion, but who's going to watch your kids?
Right.
So I'm like, oh, this is a great moment, but maybe it's not that great. Maybe I shouldn't actually take this promotion because I have to worry about my kids. And it's just, you're going to figure it out, if you need to. T-Win says, everyone is saying you have to love yourself before someone else can love you. That's not the only solution for everyone. Some people need help from others to grow and develop and build. Not everyone can learn to do everything on their own. Sometimes a little help is needed, as well as to build and grow together instead of always having to build everything by oneself.
No, that's true. That's 100% because when me and you got together, I just did this so that way we could have income coming in. And when
What did what?
Solar Central Systems,
Oh, yeah.
right? When we built that, it was just to have income coming in, but then it became something bigger than myself. It became something that was bigger. Like, and you were here since its inception. You even told me, you were like, hey, look, if you need to take the rent money and use it to pay some of your bills, you could do that. And to me, that was like, nah, nah. And now it's become something where we're over $1 million company. We're doing things that, if I tell people, I say it and people won't believe it, right? But you see it every day, and it's something that's grown to be bigger than what we even thought it was going to be, right?
Absolutely.
Now we're hiring people. We got W-2 employees. Like, we're out here getting it. We got workers' comp. Like, we're actually spending the money to actually do it. But I honestly believe, because I was traveling, baby. You know this. I was traveling state to state, teaching people how to sell solar. But if I would have never met you, I would have never started my business. If I would have never met you, I would have never been able to do these things. I was okay with where I was at. And I tell you this. Too. Right, yeah. And I think that
people are brought into your lives to,
help you get better.
It's crazy. Like, I've done more things in the last 2 years than I've done in my entire life. Wow. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, that you're where you're supposed to be,
Yeah. And that's to me, that is the biggest thing that I'm looking for, right? I'm looking to progress with somebody. I'm not looking to stay stagnant. I'm looking to get to the next level and progress. And I think with me and you, like, we just got opportunity and room to be better, every day. And I know I tell you that, and I'm not, guys, look, I'm not the easiest dude to be with. Like, I am for sure. I'm big on leadership and accountability, and I'm big on, you better get it done and handle that. But when I sit back and I think about where we've been at, I know for a fact that we are both better with each other. And since we've met each other, we've gone way further. And so that's just a testament to where we're at.
Think about that and look for someone that makes you feel that same way.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Higher your standards. I had high standards, and that's why I was single for probably, I don't know.
And you didn't settle, right?
I didn't settle. I would not settle because I know my worth, and I know that I deserve a great person because of all that I have been through. So life led me to you.
Right. And life led me to you because, no lie, I was on the same mission. I asked for somebody who, and it's crazy because if you ask for it in your mind, if you pray for it, it's going to come.
It is. The universe is like, or God, whatever you think it is. It's like, oh, you're ready for it. Okay, I'm going to send it your way and see how you handle it.
Right. And sometimes you're not ready for your blessings.
So it'll take it away, and then may resurface for you later on when you are ready.
Right, for sure. Well, Jenny, let me ask you a question, man, because this is the biggest thing, right? Yeah, I know we still got about 13 minutes left. If you could give anybody, because we talked about it, there's stages to toxic relationships, right? It's the stage when you're in it, you don't even realize it. The stage where you're weighing it out. The stage where you're trying to get out of it, trying to get in, being pulled back. The stage when you're leaving, you hit the end over there on the decline button. The stage where you're leaving, and then the stage where you're actually getting into the next level where you're healing. And then finally that stage when you find the next person. What do you do to actually keep that person? Like, how do you keep that toxic relationship out of your new relationship or the things that happen? What advice can you give to somebody?
Don't continuously bring it up.
Yeah,
you gotta kind of start from a clean slate,
Right.
Act like nothing has ever. I don't know. Like,
we've talked about it, right? We've talked about it, and I've told you, like, hey, don't compare me to your past relationships, because if you do that, then we're gonna have a problem.
You're never gonna be able, because obviously if you keep on comparing your current person to your last, maybe you weren't ready for a relationship and you needed to take more time to kind of get past that.
For sure.
And it's understandable if it, like sometimes it comes up, the negative thoughts and stuff, but you just kind of have to weigh it out and trust a new person, that they're not going to be that same person that you've been with, that you're used to in the past.
For sure. Lisa said 100. T said to block them. Block. Okay. Eulacia said a way to keep it is communication, talk. And then T said block the toxic and delete and separate. And that's real. Like it's huge, because if you're talking, and we talked about it. I was like, look, you can't compare me to the relationship that you've had in the past, because A, you got to give me a chance, number one, and B, you got to understand that I'm a different person. This is a different time. Yeah. And I think that was a lot, I think when we set the tone and we set the rules, that's what got us to the next level. T said it's extremely hard, but one day at a time, trust and communicate. So for sure, T, definitely a big thing. Well, especially what we're doing right now, especially with like the relationships and the quarantines, especially where, we're seeing, right now, we talked about it in China after the quarantine was lifted, 50% of people got divorced, right? And this is the time for sure to see, if you're with the person, to get to know them, to understand them. And even today, like, they might be doing a documentary and I might be picked to be on that documentary, and they may have another person up there talking about a past relationship. But as long as you trust and you believe that your partner is on and moved on from that, I talked about it. I talked about it with you today, and I think this is the advice that I would give. I'm long past, like, I am who I am today because of the relationships and the things that I've been through, but I would never take a lateral step or even a side step, right? And I believe that just like going back to selling drugs, I would never go back to that because I'm beyond that, and I would never go back. I believe that relationships are the same way, that I'm beyond that and I would never go back. So I think that's huge. We lost the Instagram, the live video. Weird. Yeah. You know what? You can hit the end. We're gonna. Oh, there we go. But I think that's a huge thing, right? Where I want to sit back and say, you got to learn and you got to trust that your partner has moved on, and you're not going to take a step back. Yeah. Does that make sense? Is it the same thing with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And we talked about it. There have been times where I talked and I'm like, oh, well, you said this about your past relationship, or you said things and I don't get upset, Yeah. And we look at that and we say,
I don't like, that's what I love about you also, is that we can talk openly about our past and there's not like an argument that follows it,
For sure. T, thank you. He said, have an amazing night. Thank you guys for an amazing podcast. Appreciate you guys definitely for joining. It's extremely hard, but one day at a time, trust and communicate. Jenny, is there anything that we have to wrap everything up for today and kind of get to the next love, up to next week? For those people who are looking for love or looking for a good relationship and things to look for, what do you say?
Just love yourself and understand your worth. And if you know that you are in that relationship where, you're being hurt, you're constantly crying, or you don't feel good, that person's not making you feel good, not making you feel amazing every day, then you need to start kind of rethinking your life.
Guys, my thing is basically be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it.
Be ready for it.
And be ready for it if that's the case. So thank you guys for enjoying the Relatable podcast. I am Vince Serrano, and I'm with the lovely
Jenny.
And we appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining us. Go check us out on YouTube. Subscribe, like, love us. Check us out on IG. Go check those things out. And baby, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Relatable podcast. Thank you guys. We'll see you Monday, 8 p.m.
Bye.